Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another day of live streaming. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining me on Wednesday morning. Hi, Aditya, Honor, Ehsan. Welcome. How's it going, you guys? Where are you joining me from? And if you're not joining me from the US, what time is it where you are? Oh, thanks, Hunar. I appreciate you coming here, hanging out with us. Tell your wife we appreciate her too. 10:45 p.m. You must be in India. Yesterday I was recording a video on burnout. I did a poll to ask you guys if you'd be interested in, like, what kind of videos you'd be interested in, and you guys mentioned like real talk and dev career tips. So I recorded a video on burnout, and I am a little bit nervous putting this video out because it's too real. It gets dark pretty quick. So I don't know if I should put this video out. It talks about like giving up, make a video on a basic JSX engine. I think Honor, you were talking about making a video yesterday on JSX engine, and I think that's a good topic. You should totally do it. Maybe even a series. I do want to make video on rendering techniques and behind the scenes of React, what happens. Maybe I'll make a video on that. Ujwal, welcome. How are you? There's two Ujwals in chat. Ujwal Balian, and Ujwal Balaji. Welcome, Ujwals. We always start this live stream with a poll. Make a Lang tutorial on LangChain too, very high on topic. I made a video on like how to use LangChain with making in a real estate app. But I think you're right, the video on just LangChain itself could be really helpful. That's a really good topic, thank you. What other topics do you want to see? I'm taking a note of all of these so I can keep track. Now, where's that Peppa cam? Peppa is not even in this room. I think my room is a little bit messy because I am recording, so I have this ring light here, and then I have a bunch of stuff here. So Peppa is like, too dirty for me. Hi Vikas, welcome. Azimuddin, good to see you. So, okay, I have 4 videos coming out, and so I'm gonna start a poll to ask you which of these videos you want to see first. Videos to see first. other video do I have coming out? Okay, here's a poll. I have almost 5 videos coming out, but I want to know which of these videos do you want to see first? And you can vote either on YouTube or you can put it in the chat and I will take a look. Meanwhile, I'm gonna get my computer, I'm gonna get my code running, restart my Chrome. I realized that LangChain has so much abstraction, so as a senior dev, you can give better insight on this. Gotcha. Okay. I will note that down. Oh, Coding Jesus, thank you. Is Chrome running in background? I don't know what MCP is, but sounds cool. MCP is literally stands for Model Context Protocol. It is a way of making agents, and it is kind of, you can think of, it's released by Anthropic, and it is kind of like, yeah, like USB for agents. So basically, the idea is that with the help of it, think of like making APIs, right? Like when you make a REST API, you have a client, you have a server. This way, everybody knows, like with the status codes and the way that REST APIs are consumed, everybody knows what to do. It's the same sort of thing for agents. MCP, you could have an agent, you could have a client. So with an MCP protocol, everybody knows what to do with an agent and how to consume it. It's relatively new. I think it came out like a month and a half ago, as is everything in AI. So still pretty new. I think there's a lot of confusion around what MCP is, how to use it. MCP is like LSP for LLMs. So that's what the video will talk about. And now there are companies that are making their own sort of MCP servers, MCP clients. So the video will also walk through how to use an MCP server and how to how to be an MCP, how to consume an MCP client. Can you make a tutorial on building an agent? Sure. That is the video I think I want to put out next, building an agent. And that's going to be a condensation of everything that we talked about in this live stream over the last like 4 or 5 weeks. Now there's another protocol called A2A protocol. I know. Every tech giant is living in FOMO. Every giant makes one protocol, right? It's a race. Hello, Akash. Welcome. Your typing speed. I don't know. I've never measured it. Is that important? Okay, let me get my computer, my notes running. I think you can actually implement an MCP server for a month. Yeah, I was thinking if that should be the next video. Oh, this is a really good point, Sheikh. Um, can you please cover what all things a front-end developer should know before diving deep into building an agent? I think that is a good point, Sheikh. I will make sure that the video talks about that. So before we get ahead, I want to quickly introduce myself in case this is your first stream. And if this is your first stream, we like to specially welcome you. So please tell me in the chat if this is your first stream. Also, if you are here and you've been here every single day, like some of our specials, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for joining me every single day, every single live stream. I really, really appreciate you. I want you to know that you are my accountability buddy, and the fact that you come up every day, every live stream, means a lot to me. And shout out to Hunar, shout out to Azimuddin. You guys have been coming since the first stream, and I really appreciate you. So thank you. I also want to quickly introduce like what I do and why we're doing these live streams. This is a build with me live stream. So I have been learning all of these new like AI topics, and this is kind of like my time to learn, but also share with you what I'm doing. So we've been building an AI agent for the last like 4 months, and we started by building an AI. We started by building an AI application that just talked to OpenAI. So that was the first step. Then we integrated with a database, which was Directus. We learned how to create embeddings with OpenAI. And then we did a vector search and we changed our database. We started using Convex. And then Convex was gracious enough to sponsor us. And so now we're using Convex for building an agent as well. In the last few sessions, we've been building a real estate agent. Today, we're gonna get this finished. We're gonna wrap this up. Today is gonna be the last stream. We're gonna talk about building a real estate agent, building this AI agent, because we're gonna wrap this up. And after this, we're gonna do something new. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do something new. If you have idea of what you would like me to do, let me know in the chat. Where are you from, India? And did you move abroad as software engineer? I am from Chandigarh, and I'm from Chandigarh. I was born in Delhi. I moved to Canada with my parents as a family, and I have been living in the US now for the last 9 years now, and I work as a software engineer. Actually, I quit my 9 to 5 to be a full-time content creator. So I used to be a 9 to 5 slave. Now I'm just a 10 to 12 midnight slave. What is the most enjoyable part in tech? Please be specific. So two things come to my mind. I'll start with the first one. I really like building stuff. I feel like the feeling of building stuff makes me feel like solving a puzzle, building like a Lego thing. And I really like learning new things. So it really helps that it keeps evolving. There's always something new to learn. And I also love sharing and educating people. So I love being like on the forefront of technology where I get to experience things firsthand, and then I get to like share that with the rest of folks and help them understand how this technology works. So I really like that. Number two, the paycheck really helps. Meeting new people and senior devs is the best part for me in tech. Yeah. I specifically, for this reason, love going to conferences and meeting people from other parts of the world, not just in your state, not just in your city. I think that I really like that. And conferences are great for that. Actually, speaking of conferences, we're gonna do a raffle. I'll let you know all of the details on how you can do it, but we're gonna do a raffle entry to win a ticket to React Amsterdam. And you all can participate in it. I will let you know how to participate in that in tomorrow's stream, but you can have a chance to win a ticket to React Amsterdam. It's a really great conference. I'll show you who's speaking. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, check this out. This is happening on June 13th and 17th in Amsterdam. There is an online part of this and there's an in-person part of it. Look at all the people who are speaking. West Boss, Tom, Adios Money. And we're going to be talking about full stack, React 19, going to senior and tech lead. This is what I'm going to be covering. How to become a staff engineer. And look who's speaking. Where are the speakers? Oh, here is the schedule. There it is. There it is. Look at all these awesome people. Ankita's gonna be there. Tejas is gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. Tanner is gonna be there. Lydia is gonna be there. So many cool people coming. Lower the volume. Oh, where is it? My bad. How's that? Okay, so basically we're gonna have a 4 days, 4 hours. Oh, we're gonna have a raffle ticket so you can win an entry and a spot in React Amsterdam for absolutely free. All you've gotta do is participate in the raffle. I will let you know tomorrow on the details of it. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's get our app running. Ah, look at that. Ah. Oh my god. There we go. I know, it's white and light mode. Don't worry. I was working in the sunshine. I needed some light volume. I needed some light mode. I'm gonna change it. OBS Studio is still running. First quit that. Calendar first quit. Cool. Okay, let's change the theme. Hello from India. Which tool you use for these live YouTube videos? I use Streamlabs. I used to use OBS Studio as well. Streamlabs is a paid version. Well, if you want to multi-stream actually to multiple destinations, it is a paid version. I also used OBS Studio, which worked really well as well. I like Streamlabs better than OBS because I find that it's a lot easier to manage everything in Streamlabs. So that's what I do. If you're looking for a paid version, Streamlabs is great. If you want a free version, OBS works fine too. Alrighty, so let me see. Did I miss anything? What is raffle? Is it a competition? Oh yeah, I'll tell you what it is. Raffle is basically you get an entry, you like sign up, you get an entry to in a draw, and then there's a draw that happens. It's kind of like a little like spin the wheel, and I'll pick a number, a name, and if that is your name, then you win an entry. Simple. I wish I could be a developer like me or more experience attending dev conference. I hope that day comes soon. By the way, we should totally sign up for the raffle then. I am a full stack developer and I want to integrate AI in full stack projects. Can you make videos on that, or can you elaborate on like from where to start, etc.? Okay, I'm gonna take a screenshot of that and tell you how to get started with AI integrations. Actually, the next video I'm making is actually going to be on how AI is reshaping the world that we live in right now in terms of job search. So I'm going to make sure that there is a section on that. Okay, so the poll results, 36% people say tutorial on building an AI agent. Okay, cool. And then the next popular one is building an MCP server. If you haven't voted yet in the poll, go ahead and vote that on YouTube, or you can text on other streams like Twitter and stuff. But I'm looking at the poll results, and MCP server is the most popular one. There's also topics like building an accessible web app and how I dealt with burnout at work. Alrighty folks, let's get started. Also, all of the details are gonna be in the description in YouTube. I have added link to GitHub. I've also added link to our Discord. If you need to like chat with us afterwards, or if you need to send us any links, so you can go ahead and click on those in YouTube. So what do you think, we need to learn coding or not because of AI? This is actually the question that I answer in the chat, in the video as well. The video that I'm recording on working with AI. But here's what I would say. There's always going to be need for people who learn how to code, whether it is building an agent, whether it is writing prompts, or whether it is just creating an app from scratch, or whether it is debugging the app. There's always going to be a need for people who know how to code. So if you're investing in your skills right now to understand how to code and learn the fundamentals, you're going to be great. Now, fundamentals have, it's also important to learn how to build the system so you have a clear understanding of where things should fit in and how you need to scale your system, right? Now, AI can take care of building small sections of your site. So if you're building like a UI, AI can take care of that. And going forward, AI is going to be able to build a full stack application for you. But then it is up to the engineer to kind of oversee what the code is written, and also take that code from level A to like level B. So like from 1 to 100. The engineer is going to be responsible in overseeing all of that. Even though AI is going to be able to write all of that code for you and provide you all the directions, we still need an engineer, we still need a human to kind of oversee the final results and the final code deployment. But before we push live, we need a human to take care of that. The way I like to describe this is in today's commercial aviation systems, we have the autopilot mode, right? We still need a pilot, but autopilot is able to take care of flying the plane once it's off the ground. And that's the kind of system that I think engineers are going to be working in as well. We're going to become sort of like these specialized pilots. We will be needed for some part of the flight, some part of code deployment, not the entire section, but you're still going to need to know everything about the system that you're operating, which is why it is important for a pilot to know their plane really well in and out, so that when needed they can be in manual mode. Same thing for us as engineers. It's going to be important that you know your system in and out, and you know how to operate the system from the front end all the way to the deployment. So it's always going to be helpful to invest in your coding skills. What you code might change, and that's fine. You can easily move around the stack if you know your skills, but should you completely rely on AI for just coding everything? No, you shouldn't. How do you prevent imposter syndrome? I think imposter syndrome is a really hard thing to deal with. I actually made a video on that, talking about imposter syndrome. I'm going to share that with you. Here it is. Imposter syndrome. Check this out. Okay, let's get into it. If you have any questions, keep that in the chat and I will take a look at it. But let's also get our app running now. Alright, I think the last thing I have to do is npx. What is the script? npx config step. Perfect. All right. So we're going to try an example search. Now if I hit search, reload this, try an example search, hit search. Every morning I look at this, there is something new. Okay, what is the problem here? Oh. 5173, try an example search, hit search, inspect. What is going on? There is no error anywhere. Okay, let's log into OpenAI. Oh, I still have enough budget. So OpenAI is not the problem. Let's see what's going on. What's in my network? Move down there. Which is the thing. Record. Wait, what? Okay. Alright, reload. Reload. Sometimes it's like the app doesn't want to cooperate. Alright, try an example search, hit search. What's going on? What is the problem? Hit search. Nothing in the console. Alright. Let's go to our app.jsx, see what's going on. And then I'm going to go to my sources, open my app.jsx. Put this in here. I hope I don't have any errors. Okay. What is going on? Okay, that goes through. That is fine. Okay, click that. Let that go through. Now, if I hit search, this button is disconnected. Okay, where is this handle button? Sure, it must be like a handle submit, search bar, handle submit, if no search input. Oh, there it is. I removed some code. So the app is doing what it's supposed to do. It's just that I forgot I removed some code. Okay, go through, try an example search, look up. Okay, it's trying to do something. Use infinite query, get properties. Let's play this through. Okay. Good. Okay, perfect. So this is what we did yesterday. We added the ability to ask a question if you have searched for a property, right? So it's kind of like emulating what a real estate agent does. Real estate agents would give you a list of properties that they think you would like, and then you can ask them other questions, but also they can help you kind of schedule appointments. So now if I say ask a question, let's show more properties. And then what I want to do is, let's say that I have like 20 different properties in here. And when I click ask a question, I want to be able to ask that question to my AI agent. So if I click ask a question, actually it doesn't do anything, but it should basically come down here. And when we click on ask a question, it should say, what question do you have about this address, about this property, this address? So let's implement that functionality today. What I want to do in this live stream in the next like an hour or so is that once you click on this ask a question, it pops up this kind of this chat thing, and you can ask it a question, and at the bottom here it's going to start showing you answers of the questions you asked. So at this point we're going to call the agent that we've created, right? So we give it a property, we give it like a user question, and we give it a property and an address, and we ask it to answer the questions by doing a web search. And if you remember, we have been using Tavily web search to answer our questions like how far is a certain thing, what is the proximity to restaurants, things like that. So let's do that today. So again, what do we want to do? When I click on ask a question, I want it to come down to this input box, and say, what question do you have about this property? And then when I write something, it should send that question back to my real estate agent, the AI agent that I've created. AI agent thinks about it, uses the tools that it has, and then sends that information back to my UI, and I'm going to display that in my UI. Let's get that going. Now, if you want to follow along with me and do this with me, here is the GitHub. It is also linked in the description in YouTube. So go ahead and clone this, and you can start working with me on this agent if you want to learn how to build an agent. All right, let's go ahead. So let me close all of these other files. Close others. The main file in this repo is this app.jsx, and this is where we've added like properties. If you've got properties, then we've got a property card, which is kind of how we show these properties. And then I've added a button in here called ask a question. So let's go ahead and find this button, ask a question. I'm gonna open my console as well. Okay, now here's a question I have for you. Here's a question I have for you, and tell me if you know the answer to this. So what I want to do is, if I click on this button, ask a question, I want to be able to move to this this input field at the bottom. How do you think we can do that? So here's the question for you. How should we? And you can put the answer in the chat. How should we move to Here's a question for you. How should we move to the input field at the bottom, which is this one, when someone has clicked ask a question button on any of the properties? Think about it. You're free to Google whatever you want and put the answer in the chat. Meanwhile, I'm going to look up what is this ask a question, which is in property actions. Ask a question, on click, on ask question, and then on ask question comes from property, and I'm gonna console log testing property click. All right, and now if I ask a question, I don't think it's reloaded. Try an example search. Okay, now if I click ask a question, something is broken, right? The ask a question button is not working. So let's find out what's going on. Okay, Akash says position fixed and using state to handle visibility. Position fixed, so you put it at the bottom and then use state to handle visibility. So I guess what you're saying is when somebody clicks, you just like pop it open, right? Which is, yeah, that is one of the ways we could do this. How should we, so if somebody clicks ask a question and, oh, you want to keep the chat in here, like one of these buttons, tan stack router. Yeah, that's a possibility. That can definitely work. What else? What other approaches do we have? How about if we want to keep this input field at the bottom, and then when somebody clicks on a question, we just like scroll to the bottom? How can we do that? Now, if you have access to GitHub, you might be able to see the answer already. But let me know what you think. If you click ask a question, it will scroll down to that chat and we'll get ID of that card to display the property and placeholder. Yeah, exactly. That's what we want to do, Parth. You're right on the right track. How do we scroll down to that chat? Navigate to that section. And what is the method that we have available? Like, what function call can we use? How do we navigate in React? So let's see now if I click ask a question. Try this. Inputref.current.scroll into view. What is use navigate? What is use navigate? Oh, it's a React router function. Okay, is a hook that returns single navigate function that can be used to navigate to a new location. This includes changes to the path name, search params, hash, and location state. Actually, that would work too, yeah, because it can accept a hash. Basically means that you add a hash to the bottom of the input, or like to the input, and then you use navigate to come down to that element. So that'll work too. Good idea. I do like the approach that Akash has mentioned, which is inputref.current.scroll into view. It is a native DOM approach, and I actually kind of showed the answer as well. Look at this. We already have kind of this working. So we've got the ref, we've got the current, and we've got scroll into view. And that'll just help you kind of move all the way to the bottom without using any router function. So it's available to you with just plain React as well. So that can happen as well. The only thing is you need to pass refs around, which in React 19 should not be a problem. And because of that, I actually updated my app to React 19 just yesterday because I did not want to forward refs forward my ref. So I updated my React to React 19. So if you want to upgrade from React 18 to React 19, this is a good use case if you don't want to keep forwarding your refs around. Okay, let's get back into it. So I like the scroll into view. I do like use navigate as well. Good ideas. Thank you for sharing. So let's get back into it. We want to click ask a question, and then we want to be able to see that the button was clicked. Right now, it's actually not even taking into account that I clicked the button. So let's see what's going on. We've got this property card, and this is how we render the property. And then I'm sending in this method here, which is set. So I'm going to remove this, and then I'm just going to test if console log click testing property clicks. So when I click on this, it should say testing property clicks, and it doesn't. I'm going to open this in my breakpoint. Sources, move to the bottom, app.jsx. My function is property card, and then on ask question. Let's see what's going on. Now if I click this, okay, it's not accepting a click. And then this function is going to be in property card. Let's go open property. Actually, it's property actions. Ask a question, messages square, button on click, ask a question. So now if I reload, or I guess ask a question, what is this on ask question? Let's reload this and try an example search, click search. So what's an on ask question? On ask question, it says is undefined. Interesting. Why is it undefined? Ask a question. Okay. I'm going to come in here in property card to see what is the value of on ask question. What is the value of on ask question here? On ask question is again undefined, and that means that the way we're sending this over is undefined basically. So now properties page is found. Get properties. Okay, let's try that again. All right, reload this, try an example, search, ask a question, shouldn't do anything, perfect. And now I'm gonna say on ask question equals, I'm just gonna console log asking about property. Actually, why am I accepting property here? Property is just property. Oh my goodness. Let's go. Property. Okay. All right. So now, if I ask a question, try, search, ask. Weird. Thank you, Ravindra. Let's do const handle ask question. Asking questions about what is we've got selected property for question, and we're just gonna set that to be the question. And then on ask question, we're gonna send handle ask question Oh, you know what? I think I know what's going on. There's multiple click targets on this. Okay, I'm gonna go into property card and I'm gonna remove this link. See, look at that. Oh, but this is outside of the link. Property actions. Okay. On as question is not a function. Okay, you know what? Let's try this. I know that the button is clicking, so that means the click targets are working fine. So let's try this. On ask question. I'm gonna console.log property is clicked. Okay. So if I click ask a question, I've got console.log property is clicked. Good. Okay, sweet. Cool. So now what we have to do is basically from our app.jsx, we need to pass down which property was being clicked down to our property actions. Property actions is this is basically kind of like this component where we click a button. I'm gonna add a little bit of class name, a little bit of padding as well. All right, now I have a question for you. We have a function defined up in here that is handle ask question. This is where we kind of define what should the ask a question thing do. How do we pass it down to this ask a question button? There's two ways to do that. So I'm curious, how should we pass handle ask a question down to this component called property actions? The way this is done is that we've got this property card, and then the property card itself has property actions, and property actions is where this button is, and that's this button on ask question. So how should we pass this down to property, to this button? How should we pass the handle click handler down to our property actions? Let me know in the chat. Are you using any state management? Yes, actually, I am using Zushtan, and that is a good question. think I only know the way you're doing it, and also by state management library. Yes. So this is what we are using, Zushtan. Can you create a separate store for all the related function of properties? Yeah, actually, that is a good idea. I didn't think of creating a separate store, but that is a good idea. So there's two ways of passing these functions around, right? There's one way which is just like passing through props. So we've got an on-ask question here, we send it to property card, and then we pass it down through on-ask questions. Then the other way, which like this passing down through props works, but the problem is that you have to pass it down through all of the child props, all of the child components. And so if you have, right now we have like 2 child components that this is passing through, but imagine if you had like 5 different child components, that would become really hard. So you could do either a use context, which comes with the React by default, or you could use a state management library. Use context works too. The problem with use context is that you wrap everything within your context provider, and then anytime any prop updates, everything in the context provider updates. This can work well if you have your components divided into small categories, and your context providers lives close to the components that you want to pass your state around. And your props are simple props, not huge objects. That can work really well. It comes by default with React. Sometimes the problem is that for us, for example, properties is like a huge object, and we can't wrap the entire app with context provider because anytime a prop changes, the entire app reloads. So in that case, it might be better to use a state management library where we can put our action handler, and then wherever we need to use, we just consume it from the action handler, from the library. So that basically means that we can put it in our store. We have been using Zushtan as our React state management, so that's what we're going to use. And can unify all the related states and their actions. Are you developing the APIs in Next.js itself or other backend server? I am developing the APIs in Express. I'm not using Next.js at all. So everything is in API/API.js, and it's all Next.js. Express. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I think I was using Zushtan somewhere. I believe I have a store for Zushtan recommended property. And where is this folder in? This is within the store. Okay, so we created the store called recommended property when we were doing recommendations. We're gonna do something similar for asking a question, and we're gonna create a new store here called let's call it agent store.js. Okay, and then we're just gonna like consume our data from this agent store, because when we ask a question, we're gonna put the data in the store, and then we're gonna consume that data in whichever component we want to put that data in. Okay, so in order to create this store, I'm gonna copy this, paste this over here, and this is gonna be use agent store equals create, and this is the property in question. Set property. Property is property, and then we're gonna set what is. Let's keep this for now. Just that. Hey Azad, how's it going? I see that tutorial on building an agent and building an MCP server have a tie right now in polls. So if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and vote that. I am leaning towards building an agent as the first video. And if you feel otherwise, go ahead and let me know. All right, after we let's go ahead and use the store. I totally forgot how to use the store. Recommended property, recommendations. Oh, you just call it like this. All right, sweet. Put this in app. Use agent store. From this, change recommended property to agent store. Yeah, yes please. Okay, and then you use it by just calling it wherever. So I'm gonna call it in this is what I need. I'm gonna call this in here, concept property. Use agent store state.set property. And so when we click on that button, ask a question, we basically just wanna console.log. Questions about the property, and then we can set property to be the selected property of the question. Improve code formatting, sure. Okay, this file is becoming out of control. We're gonna clean this up file. We're gonna clean this tomorrow, but today let's get our agent done. Okay, what is the problem right now? Use agent store from store. Okay, this might not be the right address. So this is gonna be store/agent store. Perfect. Try search. Already ask a question. I want to see some console log. I do see property is clicked. Okay, and I think that was in property actions. I see with handle ask a question. And then in here, I'm just gonna, instead of calling on ask question like this, I'm actually gonna use my store, import store, there. And then I'm gonna say set property is this, and then when I click this in on handle question, I'm gonna call set property, and then I'm gonna call, that's all I'm gonna do. And then I'm just gonna console log handle question and remove this on ask question. Okay, failed to reload this. This could be due to syntax errors. Okay, reload this. Does not provide an export name, use agent store. Agent store export default. Okay, reload. All right. Actually, we need property. We just need to fetch the property, state that property, because we're gonna make actions on this property. So we're gonna say console.log and log the property. Okay, search. Ask a question. Sweet. Oh wait, no, that's not true. We need this. Hold on. Oh, that's fine. We just need to set the property now. So console.log property. Property is, I think it's empty. And then set property is this. Okay. And now when we click on a button, we just need to set the property, and we can do that in handle ask question. So here, actually, I'm going to test a zip ID. I'm just going to pass in a random number. Okay, let's see what we get back. This is wired up on ask question. We don't actually need to send this anymore on ask question. This property is empty. Wait, how are we and where are we setting this property? Okay, this is what I want to do. Hi, you day. This is what I'm going to do. When I click on a property, within the property card itself, I have access to everything that I need. I've got the zip ID, I've got the price, I've got the address. So actually, I can create this Zushtan stuff within property card itself. And then when somebody clicks on a property, I can just be like, on ask question will actually be setting that property. This is what I can do. So let's go ahead and move this Zushtan stuff outside of app.jsx into this. Use agent store. Move this in here. What else? So in here, you can actually just accept on ask questions. So you can stay as a dumb component, remove this, and I will ask a question on click is on ask question. Alright, and then in my testing click of fix console. What's going on? Okay. Alright. Alright. So try search click testing click of property. Nice. This works. And then set property works too. Now all I gotta do is I gotta make sure that there is the value in set property. So in order to do that, what I could do is I have a function called, I have a component called real estate agent, which is actually this like little input box at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and open real estate agent, and I'm gonna log the property that was set. So that is actually selected property for question. I'm gonna remove this from here, and I'm gonna import my store. Copy this here, paste this here, and then I'm just gonna get this out of here, put it right before on chain. So I'm gonna receive the property that is set, agent dot property, and I will console log this property. And why I'm doing this is because when somebody has set a property or they have clicked a property, I know which property they have clicked from the property card itself, and then I'm going to read that value over in my real estate agent, which is the little input box at the bottom, to see which property we want to set fetch information for. Okay, so reload this page. This says, actually I'm setting, what am I setting? I think I'm setting zip ID, which is what I need, which is fine. So try an example search, click on search, question, testing click, I got the property zip ID. Perfect. Great job. Now I can ask a question about a different property and it'll know which property was clicked. So I've got different zip IDs. Sweet. Now the next step is to use that zip ID or use that address or whatever we want to send it over to our agent along with the question that somebody's going to ask, right? So now if I click on ask a question, we can say something like, what question do you want to ask about this property? So now instead of sending just the zip ID, since I have access to everything, I'm going to send my property over. I'm going to send my property details. And so now if I click on ask a question, I should see a whole object. Okay, nothing is being sent. What is property details? I actually need to send like this whole thing. Set property is the property itself. Alright, now if I reload and try an example search and hit search, I'll see some values. Okay, on like is not defined at property card, which is fine. I'm just gonna get rid of like and dislike buttons for now. Like and dislike. And then in the property action itself, I don't need these on likes and dislikes. Sweet, I've got all the information I need for that property. Perfect. Now, I am going to ask people what question they have about this property. So remember I had a placeholder here that says ask a question about any your properties. Let's say any property. Any property. change this to placeholder text. Why? Because we're going to do something clever here. We're going to say const placeholder text is if property exists, ask me about this property dot street address, or ask me about a property. And I think that'll be smarter. So if I click on search, so right now it says, oh weird, it says ask me about this property. That's probably because the value is persisted. We can get rid of that, but let's try a different property. So currently it says ask me about this property. I'm going to say this, and then it says ask me about 1129 North 80th Street. So if I click on ask a question on a different property, it says ask me about this property. Cool. Perfect. I know, it's working. So beautiful. Let's take a break here. I think this is a good moment to take a break. I'm going to commit everything that I have done so far because we've got a working real estate agent that can ask you properties based on the ones that you selected. Get out done. Property agent working. Now the next bit is just to connect the real estate, the actual agent.ts, the agent that we created, the AI agent we created, to this input field. And that is a simple kind of like just calling a function stuff, just calling an API fetch thing. I've already done a bit of that in here, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna add input fields so that when we get a response back from the agent, we can lock that data within our UI. So let's take a quick break. Let's get some chai. My chai cup is empty. Let's make some quick chai and then I'll be back. Push. I will see you very soon. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Alrighty, we're back. What did we say while we were gone? What does the chat say? Um, Already, we're back. Oh my god. Please start a valuable community project on Discord. Full stack plus lots of AI in it. Actually, I've been thinking about doing that, coding Jesus. So, I think for the next project, we're actually gonna do it like a hackathon style. And if you want, I can also divide you all into teams. Let me think about that. I think that would be really fun to do together as a community. So, I'm definitely interested in doing that. We'll discuss it after completing this project. Exactly. Have you watched Coding Jesus? Have I watched Coding Jesus? I have not. Coding Jesus. Maybe I have. Hey, Squishy Dough. Hope chat and streamer are doing good today. We're doing great. How are you? Coding Jesus. Oh my god, I have not. I'm gonna subscribe to this. Alrighty. So, where were we? Screen share. Cool. Where were we? We were. What did we do last? You know what? I went to make chai for myself. I just like went to heat chai for myself, and I realized that I did not turn the gas off before leaving, and so my chai was all burned. Ugh. And I could smell the burning smell, but my chai was all burnt, and I did not get any chai. Hold on. Let me shut the door. But anyways, we're gonna work on no caffeine now. Okay, so we said show more properties. There's one more thing I want to do before I call the agent, which is that if I load more properties, and if I click on ask a question, I want that like thing to load to like scroll to this, right? So let's go ahead and do that. We were talking about how to do that using, what was that, ref or something? So let's go ahead and do that. Saw you on Lead Heat. Very fun episode. Thank you, Squishy Dough. Thanks for joining us, Squishy Dough. Good to see you here. Lead Heat was really, really fun. Alrighty, so what were we doing? Oh yes, I keep forgetting what we were doing. So first thing I need is a ref, right? So I already got real estate agent ref in here. I'm gonna add that real estate agent ref. I put it in here. And now when I go to my real estate agent ref, the word is a ref. Oops, the word is ref. And now I just gotta add this to my ref. Thoughts on Handstack Query. I actually loved Handstack Query. It took me a while to actually adopt Handstack Query. And I had been using, like, I didn't actually have a need for Handstack Query at the time because I wasn't making that many database, like API calls in my previous application. But in this application, I added Handstack Query for the first time and I'm loving the experience. I am actually building a whole tutorial on Handstack Start, and that will be published on my YouTube channel. But now here's an official announcement. It will also be on the Handstack Start's official docs. I'm so excited. So I'm working on those docs this week, and they're gonna be released soon. So keep an eye out. I'm gonna be making the official coding docs for Handstack Start. Oh wow, a lot more people want to see how I dealt with burnout at work. That is really cool. Thank you for everybody who voted in this. Just again, a reminder, we have a poll running on YouTube which talks about which of these videos do you want to see first. And the reason I'm asking this is because I've got these 4 videos coming up and I want to see which one you're more interested in. So I'm going to launch that video first. Okay, now what do we have to do? We have to click ask a question, reload this first of all. Ref is real estate agent ref. We created this in app.ref, and then real estate agent ref, we pass this down, ref this. And then once we click on the button, which was property card. I see so much about Tanstack query being great, but just never dug into it yet since SWR worked. But I think I'm going to try it for my next project, so at least be familiar with it. I would highly recommend. So in actually this app, this is the first app that I'm trying Tanstack query. What I really like about this is that not only does it help you like fetch the first request, which is something simple, but it also helps you preload that in case not preload that, but cache that in case the query doesn't change. So something that I did is like if you click on try an example search and you hit search, and then if you go forward, and I hope this works and my demo gods are going to be good to me, and if I go back to search, I mean it reloaded right now, which is kind of a bug in my app, but usually what it would do is it will cache that results because the query hasn't changed, and which is really nice because I don't have to keep fetching that again and again. So even if I'm going back and forth between the app, it keeps that state constant and I don't have to do anything extra, which is amazing. Of course, I have a bug right now when I have to demo the product, so don't worry about that. But what I want to say is it's taking care of like caching for you automatically. There was one more thing that it does for you. So like for example, if I click on this, and you'll see in this query field, you already have like a bunch of different stuff that I'm sending in, right? And this I'm doing through Tanstack query as well. I'm just sending in a request in the, like I'm just sending in a everything that I need about that property within the URL itself, and that helps to cache that page as well. So I don't have to load this property details page again if I'm looking at the same property over and over again. So the default caching that it provides, I'm loving it. It wouldn't be trying out a new library without a bug or two. That does sound pretty useful, right? And of course, the moment that I have to demo this to somebody, the app decides to give me a fit, but that's fine. I also love Tanstack query a lot. Yeah. Hey Vikas, how are you? I am doing good. Thank you for asking. I am low on chai, but we're surviving. Add use ref. Oh, I haven't added use ref in here. Wait, I don't need use ref. I'm not creating a ref here, right? Yeah, I'm just passing in refs around here. Alright, so what I'm trying to fix is if you click on try example search, you click on this button, and then you've got like a bunch of different properties. So show more properties. I just want to like click on ask a question, and I want to scroll down to this input field. Let's do that. Alright, so for that I need to find my property actions, and I've got on ask a question, property card, test and click of property. This is where I need to scroll down. So I need the real estate agent ref dot current dot scroll into view, and then I want to also add behavior smooth. At the same time, I also want to make sure that I will focus it. So not only do I want to scroll it into view, but I also want to focus it. Now I don't have access to this real estate agent ref here, right? But I do have a store, so let's get it from the store. So let's say const real estate agent ref is get it from the store, use agent store, real estate agent ref. We haven't put it in the store yet, so let's go ahead and add it to the store. Now my AI is like, I think you need this. Of course I need that. Thank you very much. Now in app.jsx, what do I need to do? When I click on where is my ref? set the ref in here. Real estate agent ref. But I actually don't need it in here. I'm gonna create that in here. Right in here. Okay. And then I'm gonna incorporate this ref. Real estate agent ref. Attach that to my input field, which is real estate agent ref. Also, when I attach this, I would like to I think I totally lost my train of thought. But what I was doing is, if you ask a question, I wanna scroll into view the real estate agent ref. And how do I know which is the real estate agent ref? I know that because I am attaching that within input ref, real estate agent ref. And in this page, I just gotta make sure that I put my ref within my store as well. So I'm gonna attach that const set real estate agent ref and real estate agent ref. And then call this set. Alrighty, reload this, try this example, try a field, search. Oh, something happened. Inspect. What's the problem? Real estate agent ref is not defined at app. Now I actually don't even need it in my app. I'm gonna remove that. Remove unnecessary prompts. There you go. And selected property for question. I don't need that either. Let's clean this up. Okay. I'm also going to clean this up a bit more. Justify sender. Move that from here. Out to the center. Sure. Okay, reload. Try, search. No more breakpoints, please. Cool. More properties. Oh, I don't like how it looks. Alrighty, now if I click ask a question, sweet, it loads in. So let's do that again. So if I click show more properties, and then show more properties. Alright, now if I click ask a question for this, it scrolls it in. The animation is kind of janky, but that's fine. We can totally fix that later. So now let's click on 2518 Northeast 148th Street. I want the input field to also update that. So if I click ask a question, it says 2518 Northeast 148th Street. Perfect. Awesome. Alright, so let's commit this part because now we're going to attach our agent. right, let's see if there's any other questions so far. Are you still with me or did I lose you? Are you still understanding what we're doing? Or this is like, what the hell? So tell me in the chat if you're still with me. Oh wow, there's so many comments that I missed. Enhanced stack, no need for custom refetching data, only invalidate that key, and it also spits is loading is error, which helps it out. Yeah, absolutely. Hey Prakash Gupta, welcome. I'm building cool stuff, the Soul, a journaling app. Oh, that is really cool. Vikas, do you want to show that? Put that in our Discord. In React, we should minimize the rendering as much as we can. Re-rendering as much as we can. Yes, that is true. Are you trying to say that we are re-rendering a lot? Let me know what you meant, Akash. Get help of this project. It is in the description. Yes, Coding Jesus. Thank you, Akash. Hey, what is this project about? We are with you. Thanks, Akash. Hey, Sheikh. This project is about building a real estate AI agent. We are making it easier for people to search for properties, ask questions, book an appointment, and get answers about a specific property, and make it overall easier for people to look for a house or an apartment. So that's what we're building. The link for this is going to be in the description if you want to check out the README file of the folder. That would be helpful as well. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. If you've been following me so far, I have a question for you. Very simple question, but tell me, which LLM are we using? And you can tell me the name of the company. It doesn't have to be like the name of the model itself. Tell me, which LLM are we using? Oh, React best practices. Actually, I'm making a conference talk on that, so I'll record that as a video. Thank you for that idea, Coding Jesus. Okay, so tell me in the chat, which LLM are we using for this app? Which AI have we connected it to? Everyone uses state within search input, but we can use ref because state on input causes a lot of render. I've not seen any other person except me to use ref for input. Why? What do you use the input for? We're using GPT-4. That is correct. We're using OpenAI models, GPT-4o specifically. So you're right, Akash. What do you use the input field for, and why are you using ref? So I know that you said state causal auto re-render, but there's a specific reason we use state. GPT, that is correct, Coding Jesus. So let me know in the chat why you use ref and what are you using your input fields for. Alright. Now let's try an example search. I have no idea how many tokens I've used so far. I bet a lot. Okay, so alright, so it says ask me about undefined. So let's go ahead and fix that, which is good because earlier, remember, it was property straight address. Remember earlier it was just saying like a previous property, so it's good that it is not asking that anymore. So that's good. Ask me about a property. If I ask a question, it says ask me about this. Good. I think we can change the font of this because it's a little too light. Placeholder text. Let me change the placeholder input text. Tailwind. Placeholder color. Oh, nice. Placeholder color. I like that. So I am gonna use this like dark gray. Placeholder. This gray. Oh, nice. Okay, I think it's a little too dark. Let's use like 600. Cool. Ask me about this. Ask a question. Ask me about this. All right. So now let's say log in to verify details we can get using ref. So the problem with using ref is that the when you update the value that is attached to a ref, React does not update the UI. And so ref is good when you want to keep a constant track of, when you want to keep the data constant in that. It's kind of like a storage, right? So React doesn't re-render when ref updates. And so if you're using that login information and then you're using that to like display it on the page, like that way you cannot use ref. You can use state, because if you update your name would be updated. However, if you're using ref just to like store that data and send it over to your backend, you can use ref for that. Can you please show me how are you working with Handstack query, if any example, if you can? Yeah, so it's actually linked within the description. It's the GitHub repo is in the description. Go ahead and check that out. The file you're looking for is app.jsx, and in this app we have this hook called use infinite query, which is how we're getting Handstack query, which is how we're calling Handstack query. So go ahead and check that out. And then the next page, I think property details is the one that is also using Handstack query. Property details, or property card. Oh no, because we send information through the link. So look into app.jsx, and that is how we're using Handstack query. So the two functions that you're interested in is use infinite query, but also this function here, get next page param. From here. Hi Shruti, what are your thoughts on server components? I'm yet to see a place where I can use server components. Wait, are you saying server components or server rendering? I think you meant server components. So I'll answer about server components. I'm yet to see a place where I'm finding it useful to add a server component. Yeah, ref is like a pointer which don't cause redundant and an input where you need to update UI, and ref is kind of pointer, so you also get more stability value. Maybe I'm mistaken somewhere. Okay, so in there I would differ. Depends on what you're using the input for. If you're using input just to capture value and then send it over to your backend and you don't need to display that on the UI, you're fine to use a ref there because it is a pointer, like you said, and you get the value in there. However, if you're using that pointer to display that value back onto the page, that may not be updated. And so you cannot rely on ref to show data on the UI. In fact, that's what the documentation talks about as well. And I've made a video on this as well, so I'll share that video too. But ref docs, I'll show you. Okay, here there are two things. When you change the ref.current property, React does not re-render your component. React is not aware of when you change it because ref is a plain JavaScript object. Do not read or write ref.current during rendering except for initialization. This makes your component behavior unpredictable. So those are the two reasons why you do not want to use ref to show data on the page, because it's not predictable. And in fact, I actually showed this in a video as well, where I talked about React ref hook. Now I will share that. Learnings ref. Hey, Hunar! Oh my god, you're still going. We're still going. Wouldn't it be better to have a custom hook for every use query or any other React query hook? I think custom hooks can be helpful. I did not need the custom hook in this case, so you don't need to always have a custom hook for use query. Also, like, all I needed was I haven't felt the need of having a custom hook. It's possible that I haven't done it right. That's totally possible. But for me, the example was pretty simple. Like, I just needed the data from one API call and I was using it. And I'm not even using like is fetching right now. So I didn't need it. Alright, get back into this. Try, search, and then ask a question. Alright, so let's ask a question. Why did my font color change? Ask a question. Alright, ask me a question about this, and it did scroll into view as well, so that's great. Alright, now we're gonna ask a question. Is this property in a fun neighborhood? Now see, okay, is this property, let's say, is this property in a safe neighborhood? So now if I hit search, I don't see the response back, but that's what we're gonna work on in the next few minutes. What time is it? 12 o'clock. Holy shit. Holy shit, it's 12. Okay. Oh, it's really cool to see all the votes. How I dealt with burnout at work is now winning. The video that you want to see next is how I dealt with burnout at work. Okay. Yesterday I recorded this video, how I dealt with burnout at work, and I think it became too real. One thing that I haven't told anybody is that I was severely burnt out while working at Slack. Severely burnt out, and there have been so many instances where I was just like, I don't even want to live anymore so that I don't have to go to work. horrible. And I don't know how many people feel like that at work, but I was going through a very tough time. So I recorded all of that in the video yesterday, but now I'm having second thoughts. I feel like maybe I shouldn't talk about it in a video because it got too dark. I don't know. What kind of scenario would you prefer to have a micro front-end architecture? Micro front-end architecture actually works really well when you have different teams kind of owning the entire stack, the front-end, back-end. So we actually have front-end architecture, micro front-end architecture back at PayPal, and it worked really well because every team was kind of responsible for their own like little slice. And so if you need to update something, you just update in that thing, and then if you need to talk to other places, then you have REST architecture that you can talk to. So that worked really well. Also, there was separation of concerns between the teams, and every team kind of did a different thing, so it was easier to kind of manage it that way. So micro frontend works really well in that kind of system. When every team is kind of like its own domain, so you have like this micro frontend structure where this domain probably doesn't need to talk to this domain a bit. So even if you're changing, even if you're like sharing databases, usually the number of databases that you share is very little, usually like user and like payment, that kind of stuff. But typically you would have like your own local databases that you're accessing, so it works really well. What made you feel that? I think Slack plays a lot plus good people around you. I think people are really great at Slack. There are some people who are amazing. Why does somebody feel burnt out? Usually it's because the work that you're doing is not rewarding you the same way that you're putting the efforts in, right? So I was working like 70 hours a week, and even after working all of that, it was apparently like I don't know, the reward was just not there. Like, it's just like, you know, like when you are running in a race and you're running towards a goalpost, and then you keep running and you're like, you put in everything you've got to get to that point, and then when you get there, they move the goalpost, and then they are like, well, you were not fast enough, so we had to move the goalpost. It's hard. Okay, let's get back into it. I don't want to think about this anymore. Right. Okay, is this property in a safe neighborhood? We're gonna move past these breakpoints. Click on play. And then once I hit search, what happens in the background? I think like we've got like this JSON coming out, and we've got cannot update a different learning path. Some errors happening. So let's go ahead and fix this. There it is. I was pretty sure that we've got results coming in somewhere, but the results are in here. So it says, I can perform a search to gather information on the safety of the neighborhood. Would you like me to proceed with the search? And then it says, I found some information about the safety of neighborhoods in Newark, NJ. Oh, this is something we have to take care of. Actually, when we send a street address over from a real estate agent, we need to send like the full address along with the city and the zip code and everything. Otherwise, it doesn't know which property you're looking for. So then it just loads a property in New York, and we don't need that. Thanks for your input, really appreciate it. Found your channel via Kenzie Dots. Oh, awesome! Ah, yeah. Kent is awesome. Thank you. Okay, what are we doing now? Right, is this property in a safe neighborhood? And when we do that, we want to set not only the property address, we also want to set in the street as well. Ask me about, so let's do this, property in property.city. I do like that. So if I remove this, what does it say? In Seattle. I like that. Cool. And let's see what is the question that we send back. So the question is, user question that we send back is, look at this console in here. So it says, is this property in a safe neighborhood? But does it know which address we're looking at? Let's look at that. So in my agent, I've got my agent in, let's open agent.ts. Now the user question is here. The only thing that I'm sending over is user question, which is the question that we've typed in here. But I also want to send the address as well. So in real estate agent, I've got user question here, but I also want to send the property as well. So I'm going to send the property. We can send the entire property object. Why not? Okay. And then in agent, I've got access to the user question. Going over to my API/agents, I've got user question and then I've got property. So I send those both over. Property, there we go. And then in agent, I'm going to find my property in here. Make sure that I'm loading this. Property. And then for the thread ID, this is where I'm going to create a new thread ID. So const thread ID equals property dot zip ID. Actually, I could just add in here property dot zip ID. इतनी रात तक क्यों जाग रहे हो? I'm actually in Seattle, so मेरा तो दिन है. आप इतनी रात तक क्यों जाग रहे हो? Okay, what we do have to test is if it understands like which property it is, because I'm only giving the thread ID of property.zip ID, but I don't know if it understands that that is the property address that needs to look for. So let's see what it knows. Okay, if I say ask a question about this, show more properties. What is the value that we get back? What does our agent say? There could be errors in the agent. Parse properties has an error. I think agent thing failed. Failed to parse properties, price ending, of the user. API.ts property. What am I sending over from real estate agent? I'm sending user question, property. Okay, let's try this again. Oh no. Post, inspect, try, console. Can you quickly go the walkthrough of the agents implemented and which you're working on? Sure. So in the agents file, you'll see that we have created our own custom agent. using LangGraph. We are using this function called create React agent to build an agent here. The LLM that we're using, providing this agent, is like OpenAI. The tools that we're using is a web search, Tavily search, and then Checkpoint Saver is how we're providing it the memory. And just by calling this function, we're able to create an agent. Now, in order to send something or like ask agent something, we have to invoke the agent, and we're going to create a new human message, which basically means this is going to be a question, and then we pass in the user question along with the property ID, and so that helps us create context of the property that it's talking about. Search, and then open my console. I think something broke. Console attempted to use a disconnected port object? How is that even possible? Okay, search again. React is easy when things click. Shout out to the Reddit post. Which Reddit post? Oh, is this in a file? Search. Okay, so we're getting the user question back. Good. Now, do we have the property details? Oh, we do have the property details. Check it out. We've got it here. I can search for recent crime statistics of news articles at the neighborhood in question. Would you like me to proceed with the search? Okay, let's try this. There is a parameter called kwargs, which helps to provide additional fields to pass through the message, and we need to pass the property. So I'm going to try creating a new human message along with, can I pass kwargs property? Is this part of this? New message. Let's do this. Content is user question. Are you comfortable sharing a rough highest salary you got in tech till now? Yeah, sure, why not? Um, I think you need to add this. Oh, yeah, you're right. Wait, use a question. And then K args is base message fields. So maybe if I do fields, human message, human message line chain. How are you? I want to pass additional messages here. Human message. Let's try again. User question. And then can I give it K property? I think that should work. Expected 1 to 2 arguments. Cannot find name. I don't know if this will work, but let's give it a try. I have not worked on agents till now, but it seems cool. Today only even of the internal task management tool I was working on. In the next version, I was thinking to add a feature where user can create the task on the basis of their profile and previous task performance. What do you think I should go with the agent or just back and forth API call as usually we do? So one thing I would ask is like, what do you want the agent to do here? Right, so it seems like you want to add a feature where the user can create a task on the basis of their profile and previous task performance. Does that look like I feel like you're getting into the territory of like personalization with agents. So one thing I would ask is, where are you going to get that data from? I think you can definitely use an agent for that, because this is kind of a ambiguous workflow. You don't, there's not a specific workflow. Like you can create the task on the basis of their profile and previous past performance, but the task itself could be undefined, could be like ambiguous. So I feel like agents could be a good use case here, but I would actually dive a little bit deeper into what the functionality is supposed to be. One of the big things about agents is that the end result is sort of ambiguous, or the workflow itself is ambiguous. So if you feel like when you get the task, then the number of steps after that is predetermined, that is a workflow, it's not an agent. But then if you feel like the task or like the questions are undeterministic, then you can use an agent. So for example, in this example, I'm using a search input here to like look for something about the property. I don't know what the user can write. The user could be like, is it in a fun neighborhood? Is it in a closed neighborhood? How many bedrooms are there in this house? They can ask for anything. So I, as a developer, have no idea what is a deterministic workflow from here. Therefore, agent is going to be really good at this because the workflow itself is very ambiguous. And in order to get there, the agent has to think about which tool it needs to use, whether it needs to like look up on Zillow, whether it needs to look up on web, whether it needs to find this on WalkScore or Google or whatever, right? So the agent will figure out what it needs to do. So that's what I would ask you. Think about the use case you're building and what is the workflow. If it's a predetermined number of steps, then you don't need an agent. You can just use an API call back and forth. But if it is ambiguous, then you can use an agent. Can you guys hear Pepper? Okay, we have 30 more minutes, so let's keep going. Okay, ask a question, hit search. Now, what did it do? Oh no. Is it close to restaurants? Right? I'm just gonna look for that. Is it close to restaurants? So we say the user question is coming in. Is it close to restaurants? Okay, we don't actually have, we're not still passing in the address. User question is this, but the property. Oh, hold on. That's not the property we want to send. Wait a second. Wait a second. Am I not getting the property back? Is it close to restaurant? Search again. I've got this. I'm not getting the property back. What the hell? Okay, let's keep working on this. I think we're not sending in the property. So console.log. And then we've got parse properties. Any other consoles I'm gonna remove. This is the only console. And then I think in my LLM I have a console as well. Log response, I don't need this. Alrighty, now try an example search. Ask a question. Is this in a safe neighborhood? Hit search. Okay, I still don't have property. Where is this coming from? Price ending. How about I do? How about that? I'm gonna log property. I'm gonna restart my server. It looks like it's not picking up my changes, so I'm gonna restart this. Let's see. Is this in a safe neighborhood? Reload. Okay, I'm getting some new information. So I've got property, and now I've got property in my, this is from, the second bit is actually from the agent. And then it says the neighborhood around this has safety concerns in the past. Perfect. Okay. So it's looking up property address that I have clicked. Nice. Perfect. So let's generate this and return this back. Agent next state, that message.length, return this back, and I'm gonna remove all of this. Alrighty. And then when I return this back, there's one more thing I need to check, which is that who returned this response. If the agent has another follow-up question, for example, like this, it says, if you would like more detailed information, feel free to ask. If it has a follow-up question, like before earlier, I think it said, do you want me to do a Google search or something? Then we should wait for the user to respond back and then give them another response. Otherwise, we should display the content. Or we can just display the content. So we've got data coming back from result.json, const data, and then what do we want to do here? Let's just console log the data that we get back on the front end. Okay. Property, real estate agent. Right, I'm gonna look for a new place. Let's say this one. Ask a question, and I'm gonna say, is this in a safe neighborhood? Right, and then if I say look for this, so it's gonna do its search 7937 44th place, southeast. And then it says based on the search results, 7937 is currently pending for sale. The list of this, while the search engine provides specific information for the safety of the neighborhood, you may want to explore crime maps and statistics for Seattle to get a better understanding. Cool, I have some sort of clarity now. I think I need to think more about the feature. Thanks, by the way. No problem, you got it. जॉब के लिए एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए, एक्सपीरियंस के लिए जॉब चाहिए. Okay, let's do a final test now. So we've got all of this coming back, and then I'm going to show more properties. It's 12:42, almost at the end of time. Show more properties. And now if I click ask a question, so it says ask me about this street, and I could say something like, is it close to restaurants? And I'm going to hit search, And now in the back end, I've got some like things going on. So I've got the property, and then it's doing it. So it's like thinking. So I could add a loader when it's thinking. And so it says here, there are several restaurants near this address. Here are some options. Top 10 best restaurants. Perfect. It's working. It's doing what we wanted to do. So we look for safe neighborhood. It's able to do that. We look for, is it close to restaurant? It's able to do that. Let's ask it maybe something a little bit more that a real estate agent would ask. Let's ask something like, what? Do we know which property is selected? Okay, it knows which property is selected. What is the typical appreciation of properties in this area? Let's see what the agent gives us back. Okay. Alright, so look what it says. The Seattle housing market is showing signs of stabilization with slight price increases and increased inventory. Predictions suggest that the market will likely continue to see moderate growth in 2026. The average house price in Seattle was $875K last month, up 3.6% last year. For more detailed information, you can refer to this source. This is amazing because not only is it able to look up Google stuff, but it can also look up stuff on Redfin, which is the real estate app that we use. So this is a pretty powerful agent that is just using one tool, which is a web search tool, and just with that tool it's able to already answer a lot of questions that people may have. We can ask another question like, what is the rental income in this area for this house? And this is like, if I was to buy this house, what rental income can I expect? Doing some thinking. Meanwhile, I'm going to add one quick thing, which is button on change. Okay, check this out. The estimated rental income for the house at this Seattle is $20,123 per month. I'm sure this is wrong information, but at least it's able to look that information up. I think. Oh wait, no, this could be right. Look at that, because this house is actually pretty expensive. It is what is that? $11 million house. So yeah, that could be correct. So let's try another house. Let's try maybe like this house, ask a question, and the same question, what is the rental income of this house? Okay, let's look that up. Okay, I think this is correct. So it says the rental income estimate for this house is approximately $3,328 per month. It sounds accurate, which means that our agent is working correctly. Yes! Oh my god, you guys, we built an agent. We built a real estate agent to replace real estate agents. My dad is gonna hate me because my dad is a real estate agent. But I built a tool to help him. Can you share the GitHub link of it as well? I want to explore it and maybe improve the UI and add some more features to it. Yes, please, Byron. I would absolutely appreciate it. The link is in the description in YouTube, but I think in GitHub, in Twitter, it may not give you the link. So here it is, GitHub. GitHub link. All right, let's see the status of the poll, which we have 38 votes so far. I'm going to give you 3 more minutes to vote again in YouTube. Actually, I'm going to share the YouTube link as well. So come and vote on this. Let me know which video you want to see next. I'm going to share this link over on YouTube. Which video do you want to see next? So you can vote on this poll, and I'm going to give you 3 more minutes to vote on this poll, and based on that I'm going to release the next video. Right now, how I dealt with burnout at work is the one that's winning. That makes me a little bit happy because I already recorded that video. Oh, highest real salary you got in tech. Yes. So highest salary in tech depends on the level that you're at. um, when I started off in tech, oh my god, I was getting paid so low. I was getting paid $25 an hour. I've been working in the real estate. I've been working in the tech industry for 11 years now. When I left, my base salary was 240k, 240k, and that has been after I moved from. So when I was earning $25 an hour, I was getting paid 56,000 Canadian, which is 40,000 USD, like 45, let's say, at the time. And when I left, I was earning 240k. Your girl has done good, eh? Proud of myself. Okay, with this is the last video we're gonna do on agents. If you would like, tomorrow I will come back and do a recap of the agents that we did. If you want that, let me know in the chat that you want me to do a recap of agents. Otherwise, this will be the last video on AI agent that we're doing. We're gonna start off something else tomorrow, or maybe we'll take a break. What day is it? It's Wednesday. Let me know what you would like to see tomorrow. And if you have other ideas on what you would like the live stream to be for, or you want me to explore a new app or a new tech, let me know, and I would be happy to check it out. So a few more people voted, and how I dealt with burnout at work is still at 30%. Tutorial on building an agent is at 28%. Building an MCP server is 28%. And building an accessible app is 15%. Cool. So this is what I'm going to do. The first video I'm going to release is going to be how I dealt with burnout at work. I am planning to release that either this Thursday or Friday, so tomorrow or day after. Then the next video is going to be tutorial on building an agent, which is going to be on Monday, this following week. And then I'll make a video on building an MCP server, which is going to be on the Monday after. And then I'll make a video on building an accessible web app. So folks, thank you so much for joining me. This was almost 3-hour live stream. We all did it. We all made a real estate agent together. The agent does the work. It is a pretty competent agent that can answer any sort of questions, from like what is a safe neighborhood to like what are some restaurants I should try, or what is the rental income for this property. So it's a pretty competent real estate agent. I think this will be a really helpful tool for people who are looking for real estate properties. I'm going to polish this tool up and I'm going to publish this on GitHub. You can check it out, play with it, let me know what you think. Also, this is open to contributions as well. So if you want to improve the UI, please help me in doing so. But so far, if there's any other questions, let me know. Oh, there's another questions in multi-stream. I did not do this. Why you chose ChanStack Router over React Router DOM? The reason I chose ChanStack Router was actually I wanted to check out what ChanStack Router is like. I've heard that the experience of ChanStack Router is pretty good, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. I really like the experience. I'm also building a whole tutorial on ChanStack Start, so this was kind of also a precursor to that. So stay tuned for tutorials on ChanStack Start, which is going to be published in the official documentation as well. What other questions can I answer? Also, don't forget to come and join our Discord. This is where we hang out outside of the live streams, and this is where I'll keep you posted on when the live streams go out. I tag anybody who is in the hyperachiever role, which if you would like to come on in the chat and let me know that you want to be notified of future live streams. We also do tech talks within the Discord itself, which is not broadcasted outside. Hi, a sailor, welcome. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to say. I am also doing a raffle for React Amsterdam, which I'm going to announce tomorrow in the chat, tomorrow in the live stream. So stay tuned for that. The talks are going to be amazing. I'm actually doing a talk at React Amsterdam about how to become a staff engineer, which I'm super excited about. I've never given this talk before, but I've always wanted to kind of receive this talk. So this is going to be a talk that I wish I had. So tomorrow we're going to do a raffle for React Amsterdam. And I'll give you all the details on how to sign up tomorrow in the live stream. Again, as a reminder, we live stream every weekday starting at 10 a.m. PST. I want to join the Discord, not able to see that link in the YouTube description. So the link is also up in there. You see at the bar at the top there is a bar that says bit.ly/ShrutiDiscord, but the link is also here. With that, we're going to bring this stream to an end. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST. Don't forget about that raffle tomorrow, and we're going to wrap this agent up tonight. I'm going to ship this tomorrow as a video, and it's going to come out next week. So stay tuned. It will be on YouTube, and if you're not subscribed, you will probably miss it. So go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me, folks. I will see you soon. Bye. Have a wonderful day tomorrow and today.